Good evening, all. This is Benjamin, and welcome to another episode of Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Tonight is another theme episode, and the theme I would like to share with you tonight is that of drums, or things used as drums, on an assortment of banknotes from around the world. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about drum names, or any of the cultures represented, or really any of the countries, other than to let you know that this is a note that is available from that particular country. Drums have been a popular theme of mine on my coins and as a young child on some of the stamps that I collected from around the world, and it's really no different as a grown-up. I absolutely enjoy and will go out of my way to buy a banknote that has a nice theme of drum on it, or a nice vignette of drumming on it. We're going to start tonight with a banknote from Burundi. This is a 50 franc banknote of Burundi, and you can see a gentleman there drumming on some drums. These look to be hollowed out of logs with skin stretched over the end. A very beautifully engraved note. Another banknote from the mother continent. We have a Cape Verde note where we have gentlemen on the outer edge using snare drums, but we also have a gentleman on the floor beating on the side of a giant mortar, and three ladies with pestles grinding something, but no doubt using rhythm and turning a utilitarian object into a drumming machine. Very beautiful note. Next, we have a Sudanese banknote, a little more plain in the engraving, but very rich in the music lore of the note. We have a big drum to the left, and it looks like we have a smaller drum to the middle, and there's even a tambourine over here on the right-hand side, which I would argue is a kind of drum sometime because of the way you tap it to make a thumb. But, I am not a musician, so correct me if you need to. Our next note is a vignette that stands by itself on the right end of a official $20 of Trinidad and Tobago. Their gift to the musical world was to take old oil drums and hammer them into machines that provide the most beautifully mellow and tonal drum sounds that you can hear anywhere in the world. Part of me would like to get one of these and just sit on my back patio and learn to my pleasure and my neighbor's dismay how to play this very drum. This is a popular theme on one of their coins as well. I've had this older note from Austria for a long time now, and it was only recently that I was looking at the back vignette when I realized, dang, there's a little naked baby banging on a drum. A little baby version of a gigantic kettle drum, it looks like. But very well done indeed. The next note is a Sri Lankan 20 rupee, and the orientation is what causes me a problem with it, so I'm just going to have to leave it sideways for you. But if you look, the young man on the left is banging a narrow drum that is played with the hands on either end. Very colorful note. I can almost feel the rhythm. I had to go online to double check, and Wikipedia helped me by providing an answer when I looked up kina. This is a Papua New Guinea banknote, and that is a splendid bird of paradise. Its tail feathers are curving up and across the ends of an hourglass drum, which the bird appears to be sitting on. But yes, that is a drum, and it's a drum that's important and used for specific ceremonies. I won't go into more detail than that, except maybe on a future banknote video about the 10 kina. Can you sense the enthusiasm of the young man playing the drums on the back of this Seychelles 10 rupees? I almost hear the rhythms, and I can almost match the rhythms to the movements of the dancers in the middle of the note. This is a very cartoony vignette, but it is a very pleasing vignette to me. I can just feel the music. And even more so on this banknote of Nigeria. Take a look at these fantastic drummers. Different kinds of drums too, or maybe the same kind of drum, just housed and played differently. We have 3 drummers drumming leg-mounted drums. Very great movement on this banknote. Central America is represented nicely when it comes to drums on this Nicaraguan 100 Cordoba. What I like about this is a polymer note, and the drums themselves form what would be a watermark on a polymer note because they function as the invisible see-through register on the banknote, and so you can see the same drums in opposite on the other side of the note. Very beautiful. I keep hoping that if countries like Nicaragua can do it, maybe the U.S. can start getting something a little bit more interesting with our banknotes. Time will tell. Hopefully, quick time will quickly tell. Here is a Mozambique 5,000 Medicash, and we have dancers to the left. We have rhythmic instruments to the center, and to the right we have additional musicians, including drummers, playing at least 2 different styles of drums. A drum sitting on the ground, a drum on a frame, played with mallets or with hands. Very interesting note. This note seems very similar to the one from Burundi, actually, the way the skin is attached to the drum itself. Kind of reminds me of that early Burundi one I showed you. Next, we have a fantastic drum on the nation of Maldives, or Maldives. I don't really know how to say that. I've always called it Maldives, but it could very well be Maldives. But this is a 10 Rufia, and that is one of their national treasures. It's one of the oldest drums they still have intact from their nation. Very beautiful. I think you have to go to their national museum to see this drum. I'm not even sure it's played anymore. They may break it out on special national occasions. But they also like to play other kinds of drums. And if you look at this 5 Rufia of the Maldives, you can see a lovely dance scene in the middle, rhythmic moving of the feet. And you can see a gentleman playing the same kind of drum that we saw on the back of the 10 Rufia. It's also a soccer note, but that's going to be for another, that'll be for another theme. And the final note I want to share with you graces our presence all the way from Asia. This is a Lao 5,000 kip, or 5,000 kip note. And they have a musical group on the back of it. Some flute-like instruments, some violin-type instruments. Looks like a xylophone type there. And to the left, we see a drummer, not only playing a long drum, but you can see that short drum seated next to him. This is just a small part of the number of banknotes from around the world that are available with a drum on it. And if you add coins to banknotes, you have literally thousands of things to collect. And I always enjoy a theme that I have to look for the pieces for a while. That's what makes collecting fun for me, the search, the hunt, if it were. My name is Benjamin. This has been a Numismatic Notes with Benjamin. Please click on the circle, subscribe to my Numismatic Notes with Benjamin channel on YouTube, and then educate me, teach me about some of these drums. If they pertain to your culture, let me know. If you have any questions about drums, let me know. But let me know in comments on my YouTube channel so that we can all learn from your knowledge. Have a jewel of a day.